Hey guys, what's going on? So today we're looking at a keyboard from a company called 3in Us. They reached out to me and asked me if I would like to review this product for them. And so today I'm going to be sharing with you my opinions and thoughts on whether or not this keyboard is worth backing and if it's worth your money. It currently goes for about 660 Hong Kong dollars on the Kickstarter website, and that price will probably fluctuate as the project and the campaign gets going. But this is their first mechanical keyboard. It's the EE01. It's a 10 keyless mechanical keyboard with hot swappable switches, RGB customizable backlighting, replaceable keycaps. But I think most importantly, and the big feature that they're sort of really pushing here, is that built-in USB 3 hub with a HDMI output. So if you're wanting to go ahead and connect this keyboard to your PC or your Mac or even your iMac and basically just have one keyboard that does it all, drives all your peripherals as well as your monitor, then this keyboard could be for you and ticks a lot of boxes. I'm going to be basically going through and telling you guys all about this keyboard. And if you have any comments or questions, please let me know down in the comment section and I'll do my best to get back to you. So now let's talk about some of the tech specs of this keyboard. It comes in at 920 grams, so not super heavy, not super light, almost a kilogram, 353 millimeters in length, 124 millimeters in width, and 44 millimeters in height. The cable, which is attached and you cannot remove it, unfortunately, is 165 centimeters long, and it is color matched to the same gray plastic that you see on the footage, which is nice. You've got a 5-port hub, so that's three USB Type A ports and one USB 3 Type C port plus one HDMI 2.0 output that can support up to a 4K 60Hz monitor, which I've tested and verified. I've actually been using it on my 1440p 144Hz screen, but running at 120Hz, and that's been fine. And I'm assuming that if you run it on a 1080p monitor, you're going to be fine on that as well. The switches on the keyboard that I received came with blue switches, which use a two pin, connector. If you want to swap it out though for maybe a 2-pin or a 3-pin switch that you already have or you want to get, you can actually go ahead and do that as well. And because it's hot swappable, you don't have to unplug it. You can literally just pull it out, pop it in, and you're good to go. And as well as that, the keycaps are also replaceable, and they give you some keycaps in the box so you can go ahead and play around with how you want it to look, which is really nice. And if you want to buy different keycap sets, I believe 3NS is actually going to offer that down the road. You've got a bunch of different custom RGB effects. You've got 18 effects that are preset in the memory, but you can also go ahead and change up the profile and go ahead and customize it with specific keys and specific colors using some macros, which is all explained in the manual which comes in the box, and it's really, really easy to do. And also it's compatible with Mac and Windows. So depending on who you play for, what team you go for, you're going to be absolutely fine. Talking about that USB hub and the hub in general, one thing I do wish that they changed was that USB Type-C port. Instead of that being an output, actually gave you the option for power delivery. The fact that you have to go ahead and run a power cable into your laptop, for example, if you are going to use this with your laptop like I've been, and you have to run a dedicated power cable from your AC adapter, and then you've got the keyboard taking up another port or maybe two, because the cable on the end does have a supplementary connector to give it more power, means that you don't have too many connectors left on your MacBook Pro, and that appeal of just having one connector doing everything has kind of been lost. If you're in an iMac, it's a completely different story, but for me, who's been using it on my MacBook Pro, I really do wish I could just have a one cable solution, which is what I currently have, where I've got a docking station, everything goes into that, and then just one USB-C cable going into my Mac. So having to, now unplug a second cable or a third cable, depending on if I've got that supplementary connector in, might not seem like a big deal, but when you want to quickly get up and go or come home and dock it, it just might be that one little thing that might push you over the edge and maybe make you think about using a different keyboard that you already like, plus a docking station or a hub. So that's just one little thing that I would hope in the future they can include, is power delivery through the keyboard. So it's just one cable going to your Mac that does everything, or your PC, same thing applies. Now moving on and talking about how the actual keyboard's been like to type on and how it feels and sounds, considering I'm someone who normally prefers Cherry MX Reds or red linear switches, something that is silent and smooth, and going to, like, I think it's Gateron Blues that they're using, it's actually been not too bad, and it didn't take me very long at all to sort of get up to speed, and the actual consistency and the feel of the keyboard from one side to the other actually feels pretty good. It is a little bit loud, and if you do hit those keys a little bit too heavy, you will hear a little bit of like reverb or vibration from the keyboard, which isn't too pleasant. There's not a lot of dampening in it, and I guess that sort of shows when it's only a 900-gram keyboard. I'll leave you guys for a second though, just so you can see how it sounds. So now talking about the look of the keyboard, coming in with a basically completely neutral gray tone on this keyboard and then having that RGB backlighting come through, actually it looks pretty nice in my opinion. It's got a slight angle as well, and you do have some feet on the bottom so you can adjust it, but overall the look and the feel of the keyboard, it actually isn't too bad, and I think it would suit a lot of different situations, whether or not you're someone who's working at home, maybe you want to have this in your office, maybe you're someone who's gaming. I think it will suit a lot of different setups. And the actual RGB lighting is really, really nice. I like the fact that there are a bunch of different effects. You can change the speed of how the effect and the animation goes through the keyboard. You can turn the brightness and up and down. If you want to go ahead and use the macros and go ahead and set certain keys to be certain colors, you can do that as well. And that's all stored in memory, and you don't have to use any software, which some people might love or some people might not. Speaking of keys as well, you've got those function keys from the top from F1 to F12, and you've got your brightness up and down, your volume up and down. And on my Mac anyway, when I press brightness up and down or volume up and down, it all works completely natively, which is really nice, so you don't have to press any function keys or anything like that. So that's really cool. So what are my sort of pet peeves about this keyboard? I think for me, what I would have loved and happy to pay a little bit more money for would be the option to use my own USB Type-C cable. So if the cable was removable, that would be amazing. If there was a Bluetooth function where they could just put in a battery so I could use it just as a keyboard on its own. I don't need the hub. I just want a solid keyboard, mechanical keyboard for my Mac that I can pair via Bluetooth. That would be really, really nice. And then the last thing is a option for power delivery through the keyboard. If that could be maybe considered for the next version, personally, I would be happy to pay a little bit more money to have those features integrated into the keyboard, so I could just have a one cable solution or a wireless solution or a cable that I want. Maybe I need a cable that's longer. Maybe I want a cable that's shorter. That's just my own personal preference and my own nitpicks. Overall though, the keyboard's been reliable. It's worked really well. It's felt good to type on. And I think at the price point which they're, releasing this at, which is about 120 Australian dollars, I think it was about 660 Hong Kong dollars. If you back this project early and you can pick it up for that price, I think it is a good buy. But again, it really depends on your setup. And if you've already got some of those extra things like a docking station and a hub, it might not be that useful. But if you're someone who maybe wants a keyboard that can do it all, this could tick a lot of boxes for you. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you learned something and it helped you at least make a purchasing decision on which way to go. If you want to know more about 3NUS and the campaign for the keyboard, links to that will be down in the video description. If you have any comments or you want to give me any feedback, hit me up in the comments section. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.